We are starting to see a massive explosion in UFO-related news in the month of September, not just here in the United States, but globally across government initiatives, new academic and research-related programs, as well as the rise of very robust and effective citizen and civilian advocacy groups and campaigns. There's so much happening, it's almost hard to know where to start, but let's take a stab at it. Now remember, this is just in the last 21 days and is by no means an exhaustive list of everything that's been happening. But we start off on September 1st. The Galileo project, run out of Harvard's astronomy department by Dr. Avi Loeb, announced the discovery of interstellar fragments during their expedition to Papua New Guinea, which is the first physical evidence of an interstellar object that has been announced in a public forum. It is now headed to peer review, and several labs are in possession of those fragments. Also on September 1st, we saw former governor of New Jersey and Republican presidential candidate Chris Christie get asked a UFO-related question during the Fox presidential debate, the first time that a UFO question has been asked in that forum. And side note, expect to see more debate questions related to UFOs, or what the government now calls them, UAPs, unidentified anomalous phenomenon, to occur as we enter the peak of election season. Also, on September 1st, we saw the Pentagon release their new UFO reporting website, which has reports, videos, and will eventually allow current and former military and intelligence officials to report their own UFO sightings. There is a fair amount of palace intrigue as it relates to who is in control of the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, AARO, AARO, that is in charge of managing and running that website, which can be accessed at aaro.mil, arrow.mil, but we don't have time to cover that in this video. Now, on September 4th, something very exciting happened. If you've been following my channel for the last several months, you know that I've been providing a wealth of knowledge and information, not only around current events, but around the history of the UFO and the UAP topic. In Congress at the end of July, 6 members of the House announced that they were forming a caucus simply meaning a group of individuals with a shared goal. They were starting the UAP caucus in the House. I happened to grab the domain and the @ for UAP caucus and have used it to build out a massive guide and roadmap for how we can understand the UAP policy space specifically, and I never had the chance to kind of walk you guys through it, so I'm going to give you a quick preview now. And what's great about this is all the details and the primary source information for a lot of the stuff I talk about can be found right on there. So let's take a look. If you've been finding my videos interesting and you want to do a deeper dive into the actual information, right on the homepage you'll see a set of guides that look at the historical perspective, the origins and intent, the scientific theories, and break down a variety of really detailed explanations to help you get grounded in what the information is that's available today that we have around this topic. So in this case, we're looking at one of the guides for what are all of the theories related to the origins and intent of UAP. There's also a newsroom, so all of these big articles coming from mainstream sources, NASA, Washington Post, new research programs that come out, all of that's available in the newsfeed for you to get as primary source information. We also list out all these organizations that are in this space. Again, I think people will be surprised how seriously this is being taken. There are several really well done research papers on the UAP issue, not only on historical data, but also on how to capture new and better data. Now, as I mentioned, the UAP caucus, a caucus is an actual thing. There are 6 House members, as well as honorable mentions that are listed out so you can know who's supportive in government of these issues. And one of the coolest things is we've created a whole community voting board for the issues that we want members of Congress to address as it relates to the UAP topic. And we also added a roadmap so you can see over time what's open for voting, right? What's in progress, and what have we actually gotten accomplished. So if you're interested in no hype, no sensationalism, just the facts, ma'am, definitely check out uapcaucus.com. But back to the timeline. On September 5th, we did see 2 document-related updates. First one was in Canada by way of a Freedom of Information Act request that was sent by CTV News that uncovered a secret UAP memo that was sent to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau that was relaying information that was not yet publicly known about the February shootdowns of the 3 UFOs that were engaged by both Canadian and American military jets over the Great Lakes in Alaska. Apparently, they did recover some material that they are talking about in a classified context that they are not revealing publicly, as well as NARA, the U.S. National Archives, releasing a whole new slew of UFO-related files into their database, which is now accessible online as well as in physical locations that are at their libraries across the country. This was also part of a congressionally mandated initiative. So again, legislation is what is driving a lot of the document, new offices, and initiatives that are being undertaken by the executive branch within the United States. On September 10th, we got an explosive new 2-hour interview with former intelligence officer and UFO whistleblower David Grush, who, alongside Navy pilots Ryan Graves and David Fravor, testified in front of the U.S. House Oversight Committee on July 27th after he came public for the first time in a News Nation interview earlier this year. The video is a mix of direct questions for David Grush, as well as some theorizing and historical background on the general UFO topic, which has caused some controversy, but I do feel it's unfounded. Generally, I think they did a pretty good job. Now, last week, things start to kick up into hyperdrive with major updates every single day of the week last week, starting with Monday, September 11th, NASA announcing preliminary study results that they may have found biosignatures and signs of life, multicellular life, on an exoplanet. This was then followed up by Tuesday, the Mexican government saying, "Hold my beer," and hosting what was a first-of-its-kind international UFO hearing, including participants from the US, Brazil, Japan, France, Argentina, and the thing that everyone was talking about, which was the releasing of alleged alien bodies on the floor of the Mexican Congress. I've already touched on this in a previous video. There are ongoing studies, but I think this is the best succinct explanation of the difference between the US approach to this issue versus the Mexican approach to this issue.
The people want to know if aliens are real. Well, what I can tell you is we're working on it. We have a lot of developments developing right now, and once we really figure out a way to capitalize off this and make a buck off you guys, that's when we'll let you know if they're real or not. Who knows? Maybe they are, maybe they're not. Probabilities, capabilities, we never know, you know? Como se dice aliens. We got it. I swear to God, we got them right here. You guys can look.
Unbelievable reporting. Thanks so much, Tony. That was Tony reporting live for us here on Spacely News. Moving on, September 14th, NASA dropped their new 50-plus page independent study team report. And again, if you follow my channel, it's important as always to remember what is the purpose of these things before they come out. This report, all it was meant to do was look at unclassified data and figure out how can NASA use their existing systems to better capture high-quality UAP data. That was it. They also happened to announce a new director of UAP research. And there was some drama about the identity not being released and then being released after. As always, here's the signal in the noise. Are we moving in a direction where these institutions are putting the systems in place to take this issue more seriously? By hiring a director of research, the answer to that question is yes. NASA now has a person whose sole job is to look into UFOs. That's interesting. On Friday, the ICIG responded to the House Oversight's request for information about David Grush's allegations about crafts, bodies, program names, and locations. That is an ongoing conversation we'll touch on in another video. And this week hasn't slowed down either. On Tuesday, the members of Congress who are going to decide whether or not the UFO Disclosure Act is passed or not were selected. We found out yesterday that the UFO case over the Gulf that Matt Gaetz talked about at the UFO hearing in July was officially submitted by the Air Force to the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. And today, that same committee that hosted the UFO hearing in July also held a closed-door briefing with NASA about that report that was released last week. And to top it all off, U.S. Customs and Border Patrol just dropped 12 new UFO videos as well as a report on their website. There is a lot happening right now, especially behind the scenes in UAP policy and data collection systems and processes. I've been contacted by 3 very high-level organizations. There are collaborations in progress. Watch this space.